So here we are with my friend Tony here. He's going to share a little bit about what happened to him at the Salvation Army. So how long ago did they have you basically exited?
That would have been the beginning of January. I forget exactly the date, but it was in January. I think I've got a 30-day, so it would be, what's the month is right? It'd be like, I can go back February 5th, so I think I was exited January 5th. And that was for, they told me the reason was because they didn't think I was coming back. I was on a pass and I was maybe a little late, but I communicated very well with George and Sabrina. But once again, it was Geronimo who had me exited the first time on 2 allegations that weren't true, but it was because I was they thought I wasn't coming back, but I was coming back. So I've been on the street ever since. Wow. And I've been on the waiting list for recuperative care, which I should be going to the Pearl House very shortly. But yeah, it was I'm not the only one that got exited for they thinking they weren't going to come back or were anywhere from 10 minutes to a few hours late.
Yeah. So you were, I don't know, 3-day pass, was it?
Yeah, 3-day pass.
And you were like about, what, 2 or 3 hours late or something?
Yeah, it was just a little bit late because a lot of that was self-help meetings, and I was going to touch bases with people that were out of touch as far as resources, meeting people on the street that hadn't been embraced by PD as far as to go to shelters, and let them know they just need to make sure they always say yes, and it would be up to a PD or the or city net to make sure they get housed.
So after you were exited, how long would it take to get back into the shelter?
Well, I believe for that one, and for that reason, it'd be 30 days. So they told me February 5th when Taylor and Acuna, they, I guess a part of the outreach program, they said that I never tried to sign up or go to a shelter, which I did, but they called in, they said it would be the February 5th, or if I wanted to go to La Mesa but couldn't take any of my property, that it would be stored with Public Works. And I'd have to wait till I got done, I guess, at La Mesa to come get my property. And I said, I'm not gonna leave my property on the street and have it lost again.
Wow. So, but they wanted actually 30 days kicked out of there then, at least.
Yes, that was 30. Yeah. That's the thing at Salvation Army on Lewis Street, correct.
Wow. Now, why would they, I'm just curious, why would they have it such a long time to be kicked out? Just because you're 3 hours late one time, and they say you can't come in for an entire month?
Yes, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just how they have sometimes it seems like they have a revolving door, but I just know for some of the people there, it's almost like selective
enforcement.
Reasoning. Yeah, selective enforcement, depending on who. Because see, all that's supposed to be done is supposed to be reviewed by your case manager anyway. And sometimes it's these night people that are working the night shift that go ahead and make these arbitrary decisions, and then you never get the paperwork. I did one time get the paperwork as far as the case manager was supposed to sign off on every action they do, and they're not their case manager. They make these decisions arbitrarily without any conferences or anything about it.
Wow, yeah, that's tough. So you've been on the street now for how long?
Well, since I was kicked out, and I'm not sure the exact date, but I do know that I was on the wait list for recuperative care. I'm recovering and still from being exited after 1 day at Mesa Verde. They said I missed a therapy class, and they actually put in a missing persons report that Costa Mesa Police Department, they want to interview exactly how that went down, because I was not gone for 24 hours, and they tried to tidy up the paperwork 1 day. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a revolving door if they're just trying to get the numbers in there. But all I know is if you have 1,000 people homeless in this city, and say 60% are couples, right? Then they should have 60% of the beds made for couples, instead of vice versa, where they have maybe 4%. You know what I mean? And then probably your recidivism, meaning that you get kicked out and come back, is going to be lower, for lack of a better word, meaning recidivism. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I think that there's definitely a lack of resources. That's pretty much a given, I think, right now, we know still. So
well, that's because they're only at 60%, when the Ninth Circuit Court, and which the Supreme Court has confirmed, it's got to be 100%.
Yeah, and 1 bed for each homeless person.
Right, and
6 beds for 10 homeless people.
Right, and you're exactly right. And just for all those couples, because a lot of people, when they become homeless, they're not trying to be out here by themselves. You know, I'm by myself right now. Is that they have a partner, and if you've got 1,000 homeless in your city, and 60% of it through a correct survey, right, census is that you should have 60% of couples beds in that facility or city. That's where they use that in the beginning as a false lead. Like, hey, you could come in here and you have couples, but they only got 6 beds for couples.
Yeah, they don't really have.
Yeah,
enough.
they should have the right. It's disproportionate to the population.
Yeah. Okay, great. Anything else you'd like to share?
No, I'd just like to say that sitting at, I would say you guys should answer the phone even if there are no beds, because it's not your fault if they want to hear a live voice. And since you've got that contract for Union Pacific for the trash, I believe let me help you, because there's a lot of viable, workable homeless people that can do that, get back into the tax base, and get set with some housing now they have funds. So please, when you do address that issue with Union Pacific, think of us, the IDP in hand. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That's Tony. He's just keep him in prayer. He's out here on the street still, and I think that there's definitely a lot of great things he could do if he had more opportunities open up for him. So let's pray for that, and pray for more, of course, affordable housing, shelter for those in need. Please do join Homeless Advocates for Christ on Facebook. Share the video, like, subscribe, and thank you much for your prayers and support. May God bless you all as you seek first His kingdom always. Bye-bye.